Hi there, it's Brian Sebastian, Movie Reviews and More, Women on TV.tv, IT247 out of Franklin, Tennessee, and the Worldwide TV Network, which was formerly the Women's Broadcast TV Network. So we're going to do a part two. But before we get into that, we have to welcome my number one co-host, Terri Marie, out of Redondo Beach, California. Hello, Terri, how you doing? It's good to see you again.
I'm doing good, getting ready for a long weekend.
Yeah, I'm sure you are.
Yeah.
I can only imagine what you're going to do. I want to hear it later. And then obviously, Mike, tell us who you are and where you're coming from.
Hi, I'm Mike Tankel. I'm here in the Laurel Canyon section of Los Angeles, up in the hills, and where all the music came from. And excited to be back here with Brian.
And to be continued, your company. All right, let's start off with to be continued. Why did you come up with that name, which is think is a great name, and talk about what your company is for Terri, and she'll catch up and we'll go what we see going on with the last 2 weeks.
Sure. You know, to be continued speaks to the desire for franchises, for universes, for connected stories. We don't want stories to end. We want them to continue. But like that, we also want relationships to continue. And that's really important to me, that the work that our company does builds relationships that are long-term with people. It's not about the short-term financial gain. It's about the long-term impact you can have in partnering with somebody and working together with them and developing something and helping them see things that they might not have seen before.
That's very true. I think too, when you got a passion about something too, it's not work.
No, it's a hobby, and it's
Yeah.
a hobby. And you know, one of the things that really we thought about in putting this together is there are so many content creators out there.
Mm-hmm.
And with the, streamers growing and all these new opportunities, too many folks are rushing into production.
Mm-hmm.
And they're not thinking about what it is they're shooting. They're just excited to shoot. And so one of the areas of expertise we have is to work with these writers and these directors and take a look at what they're trying to shoot, go through their scripts, go through their ideas, and help them expand the audience so that there's a bigger potential for them, that they're not leaving money on the table, that they're making this as impactful as it can be, but also making it opportunistic for sponsors, for advertisers, for marketing. Hey, that's a great speech. Give me this down a little bit and we've got a wonderful trailer. Or let's talk about these characters. Are they white? Are they black? Are they male? Are they female? Are they, whatever it can be, anything. But let's talk about it in the relationship it has to our audience and how we can expand an audience. And I think that's really, really important. Sometimes we're bookending stories to double an audience. Sometimes we're changing characters. Sometimes we're just looking at it with fresh eyes and giving them a perspective that allows it to continue and maybe change the ending. Don't know. Everyone's different. But it's a real exciting time. And what I found is the creative relationships you create with writers and directors are much more long lasting than when you're brought in as an agency after they've done something.
And are you seeing, how are you seeing it changing with the age of COVID? Or with your working relationship? Or yeah, go on.
I think the relationships are stronger.
Mm-hmm.
I think, COVID has forced all of us to tighten our circles and be closer with the people that are in our circles. We still let new folks in, but we're really tight with those that are in it. And with COVID, there's obviously a lot of regulations, a lot of rules. We want everyone to be safe in shooting. So there are projects that are very much, written to be COVID safe and very small sets. There are some projects that are big and going through all the quadrants, making sure everyone is broken out okay and abiding by all the, new shooting rules that are out there. And there's everything in between. But from a development standpoint, it's never been a better time because every channel is looking for new content. We're approaching the end of Netflix soon. What do we do? What's next? Oh my God, I've seen that on HBO Max. Where's the new stuff? And we need a constant stream of new stuff. We've seen loads coming in from Germany, from Israel, from South Korea. We're seeing all this new content happen and be exposed to it. And they're wonderful stories. And we're really digging it. We've seen TikTok hit it with the youth, and they're really digging it, regardless of production values.
Well, that's funny you mentioned
Terri's smiling because she heard you say TikTok.
Because
on this,
yeah,
Mike.
I
Anything that keeps her away from politics, which is TikTok. Thank you, TikTok. I couldn't be happier.
No, I mean, okay, so I'm a performer at heart, and so, you know, Facebook has gotten too toxic for me, and I think a lot of people feel this way, and it's just an avenue for people to be very creative, and I see so much talent on there, and it's a way to get my talent out there, you know, because I like to make people laugh, and I like to try to do it through comedy, and I'm discovering certain talents that I didn't really know I had, if that makes any sense, because of COVID, because I've had more time and I've kind of, you know, adjusted priorities and stuff. But yeah, I think that TikTok is actually, somebody was saying that to me, it's even like the new record label, because so many artists are on there, you know, promoting their music on there. So it's awesome.
Well, it's a way to do nice short form sampling of what you've got going on, and you can see the response and, you know, gauge what you do.
Yeah, and you can also, the audience is never wrong. So, you know, if you put something out there that doesn't work, you can look at where your reaction is, you know, pretty much that week, and then put some other content out, tweak it, and then get a better response. So for me, it's just helping me grow as a performer and an artist, you know. So
Well,
I think
what's really cool is the things that don't work get you a lot of buzz, as well as the things that really do work. It's the things in the middle that do nothing.
yeah. Well, sometimes the things that bomb, which is interesting, I won't get any views, and then 2 weeks later, I'll get all these views, and I don't know. It's just kind of kind of crazy how the algorithm works. I don't really get it yet, but I don't know. It's a new. There's so many more ways to express talent these days, and I think COVID has forced that, and that's one of the avenues, because I think it blew up because, you know, people were at home, and people like reality TV. They like to see real people, so. That's another reason.
I think one thing, Mike, is interesting. I always remind Terri, what's a bigger number? Your 3 million views that you have, or your 19 or 20,000 followers? And I always let her know that, because no matter what, it's about that viewership. You know, people can unfollow you, they can unlike you, and they can unsubscribe, but you're not going to lose that view. And I'm like, go with that view. So I think she's getting it, because now she's happy with her TikTok.
Well, I have one video right now that's got 60,000 views that I thought wasn't going to go anywhere. I thought was kind of stupid. I'm like, oh, we're so it's good that it keeps going. So we'll see, you know, but as of today, it's 60,000 views.
Well, you've got views, you've got followers, and you've got engagement. How are people engaging with you? What are they saying? What are they doing? What's their behavior? What are they looking for?
Yeah.
Because that's when you keep them coming back for more.
Yeah. Well, you can have a conversation with your audience too.
Right.
You know, you can ask like, hey, what do you want to see from me? And then they'll tell you in the comments. So I like that aspect, because a lot of times, you know, if you're just doing television stuff, you can't ask, you know, the people that are watching, like, oh, well, what did you think of that? Or, you know, what can we do different? So it's kind of neat in that aspect. That it helps you, you know, it helps you grow anyway. So
wonderful.
Mike, what else are you seeing coming up? Because now we had shut down a Batman as of today. The Rock came out and said he was COVID-19. None of this stuff surprises me. I'm looking at what's happening in Florida. I'm looking at the world of sports coming back. I still think everything is too soon. I'm still not going back to the movies, and not yet, because it's not safe yet. It's just not. Plus, I know you can entice me with the movies going out there, but I'll still take the link right now. What's your view?
Look, I don't think we know what we don't know, or what we do know right now. There's still a lot of mystery. The virus is traveling. We've seen a lot of folks, you know, getting it, with Rob Pattinson announcing today, as well as The Rock and his family. You know, hopefully everybody recovers really well, but that's just the tip of the iceberg. There's a lot of people out there that don't have the protection that they do, the homes, the doctors, the support, and have to go to an office, have to go someplace to work. And, you know, it's risky, and I feel for those people. And, you know, I hope that we get to a place where everyone feels safe to returning to a greater sense of normalcy, and that normalcy meaning that we can see people, we can say hello, we can hug them, we can be around them. I think we're all really missing that.
Yeah, I think it's interesting too. I've had some friends that have had it, and luckily they had mild cases. So that's what's so crazy about it, is you don't know how it's going to affect people.
Right.
So that's the big mystery of all of it. But I'm kind of, I mean, Brian knows this. I'm missing the red carpets. I'm missing that interaction a lot. So. I'm ready for it to be over, but I think everybody is so on that avenue. So,
But also, you know, we've got Toronto is going to have a film festival. Canadian borders closed to the U.S. So they're having 67 or 69 screenings, but it's one of those things, if you did want to go, you can go. Venice is having kind of a virtual, so it's interesting to see some photos with the mask, seeing Kate Blanchett with her mask and then off. So that's interesting. I'm not sure. I called it 2 years ago. I still say film festivals are dead. I do not see them coming back. And I'm tired of watching all the screening links, good movies on my laptop or my TV. What say you?
You know what? I got some pretty nice monitors, some good stereo equipment set up to it. I'm relatively okay watching on it. And we've had great times. We even, you know, as a family, we got the new Bill and Ted. We have a 40-foot retaining wall in our backyard, and we projected it on the wall, had kids in the pool, and it was awesome. And it was a great experience. It was a nice family experience. And it was, you know, one of those rare movies that nobody had to blush too hard on any one scene.
good. Brian we talked about like the coming back of drive-ins on another show too.
The drive-ins are doing well, and more people should do that.
You know, depending on how scalable it is and, you know, where we can go with it. I think, you know, what it's going to foster, because we know the industry is so competitive. You know, everyone's about who won the weekend. I think you're going to see a change in the metrics. You can't look at box office the way we used to look at box office and have somebody, you know, pound their chest like, you know, hey, we won. There's a lot more metrics to look at now to understand what's working.
It's very true. I don't know. What was I going to ask you? I guess like the thing is some of these award shows and stuff with no audiences and sports with no audiences. I don't know. What's your thought about that? Where we have, let's say, for example, the Dodger games where you've got cardboard people. It just to me it's odd.
So there's two elements. And I think as an advertiser, you can get really creative. You know, there's a lot of fun people you could place. Now I've seen people, you know, try to put, you know, Bernie from Weekend at Bernie's, you know, kind of out there, and the other characters. I'm sure we'll see political candidates, who knows what, but you can get creative and do things there. But, you know, I got to imagine for any artist, performing without being able to see an audience is a really difficult task. How do you truly bring it? How, you know, we all respond to the crowd and the cheers as well as the boos. We want that guy, you know, who's, you know, yelling for the other team when we're up there so we can truly show, you know, we've got this. And the experience is different. And that's actually, you know, we've recognized that. I'm working with a few folks in the music business, and we're taking that idea, and we found a way for artists to feel like they had an audience again, and create an interactive experience where we took two virtual worlds and figured if virtual plus virtual equals physical, and created a physical world out of it.
That was a great idea when you were starting to talk about it the last time on your, what's been the progress of that, and can you name it yet?
Why not? I don't care. Sure. We call it Livin', Livn. Livin.live is what it will be. There's no website yet, so don't go looking, but we've got the URLs. And Livin' is made up of rockin', of laughing, cooking, thinking, and a charitable arm we now call Givin'. And charity is a real big part of it because, you know, we all want to give back. We want to pay it forward. So it'll now be a formal part of every show we do. And there'll be a charitable component we'll be sharing with the audiences and allowing them to participate and support charities that, you know, are important to the artists that come on board, as well as the team that's putting it out.
I like that. I love that when you were talking about it the last time you were on. I think it's a great thing. As a brand strategist, as you know, being strategic and everything like that, the tell for me is when the WWE never stopped performing, and the wrestlers would go out and pretend the audience was there, and they're engaging, they're doing what they're doing. It just didn't look the same, but they were doing it and they still kept going. So my hat went off with them. So what you were saying, those people in the rock world, those theater people, they're going to have to do the same thing, sort of like it's rehearsal, even though it's live.
Yeah, well, you know, Terri, you talked about you do some comedy, right? I mean, I can't imagine. I've seen like, Bill Maher and some of the other late night hosts trying to give a monologue without an audience to react to, without knowing if they're laughing, if they're buying it or not. That's got to be incredibly difficult.
Well, I mean, mine's more is more acting. Like I'm not doing stand up. I'm doing more like skit comedy.
Okay.
So if I mean, I'll laugh at myself. I'll laugh at myself. So if I think it's funny, I think other people are gonna think it's funny. Maybe they I don't know. But you know what I mean? You laugh at yourself when you do that kind of thing. So but stand up comedy would be kind of hard because you wouldn't get a reaction,
Right.
So it's a little bit different. So I mean, I don't know. I would have a really hard time standing up there and not getting a reaction from anything, going, okay, did that joke bomb, where
You don't know, right?
Skit comedy is a little bit easier because you can, it's because you're more playing a role, so
Mhm.
you're not I guess I'm in the character, so I'm not really worried about what the audience is doing, because then I'll get out of character, if that makes sense.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, Mike, I would also look at it like this. Comedians are some of the most popular people you ever meet, no matter how famous they are. So I can imagine what's going through that little voice in their head saying, "Oh, this didn't work. There's nobody out there to test it on."
Yeah.
Artist.
With someone like who doesn't care, they're like, "I'm doing this, and I don't care if people like it or not. It's gonna work." So that's the new plus, I would see, right?
Well, look, anyone going up on stage has some level of insecurity, and when there's no audience to react to, you don't, your demons come out, and you don't know what to expect and what's happening, and you can only hope that once you post it, that the numbers are good.
That's true.
Yeah.
And I mean, I've learned too that, when you do put stuff out there, if it doesn't work, you just got to go, okay, that didn't work, and move on to the next and not dwell on it.
Mm-hmm.
Which
Yeah,
a lot.
but that takes experience.
Mm-hmm.
That takes, confidence, and it takes guts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean,
Oh, go ahead, Terry. Go ahead.
I know. It took me a long time to get that way, where I'm like, okay, well, that didn't work, so I'm going to go another direction instead of dwelling on it and getting upset and depressed. I mean, but that what you were saying before, every performer has that insecurity because they want to do well, and then when it doesn't work, you're like, you want to kick yourself in the butt. But you can't do that with anything in life, though. You make mistakes no matter what you're doing, so you got to learn from it.
Yeah.
Mike, the interesting thing is I'm thinking of, football season is starting, not in every state, not in every county. And I'm like thinking, how are they going to do this? The Raiders are going to play nobody in a brand new stadium. St. Louis is going to have 20,000 people in, because I've been talking to the people. I'm like, well, how's that going to work? It's really bizarre. What's your thoughts on that?
I mean, how are you going to have a fight at a Raiders game?
You might as well, you can go to the hockey game at least, right?
Right. I've seen some things where they're working on bringing in audio from past games and, piping in audiences so the players feel like there's some things going on. I don't know what the broadcast networks are going to do. We're hungry to see the sport, and maybe the camera angles are going to focus more on the field, less on the stands than we have in the past. That can help for it, but we're hungry to see the familiarity of the players we know, doing the thing we enjoy, grab our beer, grab our soda, grab some chips. It's good for everybody. It's going to sell some commercials, sell some product. And as a group, we all need something to root for. And, sports are a great thing to get us rooting for folks. We saw the US Open begin, just the other day. And, no audience. That's kind of...
Could you imagine John McEnroe not responding to anything?
Who's he going to scream at,
Exactly.
It's, those are things you look for. One of the things is we're out in LA, and I'm a Yankee guy. When a couple times the Yankees come to town, there's always that guy in the stands who's screaming and, reminding you of New York. And I love that, in any game, just hearing it, the personalities come through, the fans, the tailgates, everything. And, we go virtual. There's some technology where we can watch games together with our friends, by having, social media on and things like that, but it's not the same.
Mm-mm. Yeah, that was the one thing, like watching baseball, the tracks of the audience. It's kind of, I know that's kind of weird because, they can't, it's just a track. You can't really have a real reaction. It's just noise, so.
Who knows? Maybe with AI you can. Don't know.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm saying right now, if you watch the Dodger game now, it's just the noise track.
Right.
that they've got. So.
Mike, how do you see between now and the rest of the year? Here's what I'm starting to work on. I'm starting to work on the month of December and September because we've never experienced a December coming up. I'm thinking of those kids that probably can't go sit on Santa's lap. Because one, you don't know where the kid's been, and two, all those Santas are older. So, but I'm also thinking about those brick and mortar companies that aren't going to be there maybe in December, and a lot of those smaller businesses. What do you think of that?
We're clearly going to be doing a big chunk of our shopping online. That's a given. We're going to be hungry for family experiences. Don't know what Thanksgiving's going to lead to. Will people come? Are people at college? Are they coming home from college? Are families getting together? Are we going to have the big meal together? Are we going to have, the crazy uncle pass out in the chair after the meal? Don't know. What goes on for Christmas? Are we going away? I mean, we don't even know right now if there's going to be a Halloween.
That's how I was thinking about kids and Halloween and trick-or-treating. Like, that's going to be hard for some kids.
Yeah.
Because Halloween
was going to be real hard.
That was one of my favorite holidays when I was a kid, getting dressed up in the costume and stuff. So, yeah, this guy, that's kind of going to be hard.
I was talking to Remo, my friend Mark Bronson from Remo Drumheads. There is no Rose Bowl parade, so there's no marching bands. Virtual Macy's Day Parade. So there's no drum corps and there's no marching bands. And that's his whole thing with the Drumheads. And so it was very interesting because Terri, this is the studio that we'll be at Tuesday. One of those things where luckily he created with a bunch of other drummers, I'm going to do this while I'm furloughed, which is interesting. And, it's going to work because one, we're there, but also people that we bring to that studio. But also there's a lot of people that still don't want to go into a studio because one, they're not comfortable, and that's okay. But, I've got my Lysol, I've got my Lipton hand sanitizers, I got the restroom kits. That studio is built for us to remain clean. So Terri, when you and I and Victoria get together, anywhere, I've been one of the most boring black guys that I can think of. I'm like that to begin with. But, I've just been doing my thing, but I know where I have not been. I don't know where everyone else has been.
Right.
But I do know that studio is built for me and there's nobody going in because the equipment's not there. So that's what I do know. So I'm confident with that. So yeah, I'm even telling directors and a couple A-lists, you want to come in here, it's private. It's never been used. And, there's a reason why it's built up for us. So they're happy to hear that because they can't hear that anyplace else. And then if I don't want to do that, I'll just go into the next room and we'll do a Zoom interview with you and we'll work it out that way still.
Well, we do a lot with a company called Anthem One that has a medical instrument division. And what they did was they created a UVC light. They were actually doing lighting for sets and found a card they created that's all UVC that can sterilize a large room in a matter of seconds and protect people from COVID in that, And they've been tested through loads and loads of, with a handful of universities and medical centers, and the numbers came back, phenomenal.
That's great. That's good news.
We've been helping, different sets get that. We'll certainly be using it in any productions we do. And it's not that we have fear, it's we want everybody to feel safe. That's what's important because it's an invisible thing. We don't know, but we're going to use it. We're going to do everything we can to make people feel safe, but we can't stay hidden forever.
No.
Now we're ideally a lot of, social people, and we need to be around people. And Zoom and, the interactivity we've had has been, really wonderful, but, I want to get a hug from somebody. I want to see people. I want to go see family. And we've been limited at that. And there's a lot of folks who are still, haven't left their house at all, haven't driven their cars, or, having groceries sit in the garage, I hear from friends. And, everyone's got their own level of reaction to this. And, we've seen it come out. We've seen the good side of people, the bad side of people, and the scary side of people. And we just got to be there to help everyone through it.
Yeah. I mean, I think there's a lot of mental health issues are coming out of this. And it's,
That's good for comedy, right?
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of comedy coming out of this COVID stuff. I don't know. It's just, we are creatures. We need to be around other people. It's just, that's just, we need that connection with others. So hopefully this is not too much longer.
Well, and we move around in our cars, but you think of New
Mhm.
York City and the subway system, the bus system. What do people do? You
Mhm.
know, the airlines, are we going to travel anywhere? I mean, people I know travel feel it's pretty safe, but
Yeah,
anything can happen.
I'm gonna add to that. I traveled. I went to Florida, and the plane. I've been back for long enough that I know that I didn't get COVID. So, but the plane smelled like bleach. And like I had a migraine on the way there and on the way back because of the disinfected. And now they're not using recycled air anymore on the plane. So
Uh-huh.
after flying, and I mean and I don't know. I didn't feel like it was dangerous. I mean, I think they took really good precautions from what I saw, and that was just my experience. Other people might have different experiences, but I was kind of impressed at the way they handled it.
Yeah, I mean, my fear is not as much getting to and from somewhere. It's what will the experience be like once I'm there?
Mm-hmm.
And, I like meeting new people. I like having conversations. I like walking around and all, and I'm not sure how much, we can do and be social at that with people we don't know. You go to a hotel, you go to a new city, you look for a restaurant, you grab a drink at a bar, you talk to someone, you go to a casino in Vegas. It's all different and the experiences have changed, and that's what we've got to get used to.
Mm-hmm.
I took the bus. I took the mega bus down. There was 9 people on it, and I went at midnight. And we had to wear a mask the whole time. And then we stopped for a 10-minute break. And then, I got on my Lumo because I zoom around on that. That's why I got it, because I knew what was coming. But it was also, I stayed in the hotel downtown. And then, so downtown at LA Live, I was at the Resident Inn. So the Yard House and a couple other places, they had waiting lists. So people were using the outside patio, which is
Yeah.
they're in.
Uh,
That was good because they were getting businesses at least, which was good. And then I saw 3 people the entire time in the hotel I was at. I was like, I felt like I was in the Omega Man movie, the Charlton Heston original one, because I was like, when I got in at 5:40, it's like, where's everybody? And I took the subway, and there was like 3 people on it. It was like me. I had more interaction with me and my
That's common for LA.
exactly.
yeah.
And then, the people started coming out, and I zoomed down Hollywood Boulevard because I hadn't been there since February 25th. I'm like, where is everybody? Where's the costumes? The Men's Chinese Theater was blocked off, and that was weird.
Yeah, I went down Hollywood Boulevard the other night, probably around 11 o'clock, and it was like it'd been cleared for a movie set.
Wow. Interesting.
A handful of food trucks, not a lot of action going on, just a few people walking around, but no club scene, no, not a lot of lights. It was sad. It was really sad to see. Beverly Hills, on the other hand, you go down and there's people dressed to the nines and they're eating out on the sidewalk. They've put a little curbside areas out there too. It's like the restaurants seem to have decent traffic down there.
Well, Redondo Beach, South Bay is the same way. I live in the Hollywood Riviera down here in Redondo,
Mhm.
and they have all the restaurants are open, and they're getting really good business. Everybody's outside. I mean, not the capacity that they're used to, but I
Right.
mean they're working around it. So I'm proud of them, but my community here, the way they're handling it and letting the business stay open.
Yeah, these are hard things to bounce back from.
Yeah, and then nail salons now are opening up back up down here. They're putting tents outside. I have some friends that like have hair salons. That's kind of a iffy thing right now. But I mean, that's the thing that breaks my heart is I have friends that are like losing everything because they have businesses that can't open up.
Yeah.
So that's
Well,
heartbreaking.
And how do you open a business and make it successful when you're only allowed to have 20% or 40% capacity?
Correct. Yeah. I mean, not every restaurant around here can do the outside patio, so those restaurants are kind of, SOL, they
Here's
can't.
what I would do. If I was a hair salon, I mean, I had plenty of time. I had a year and a half to think of all the stuff before it happened. I said, you know what? Do 24/7. Pretend that you are in New York. Happy. There's people who are up at night or want to go get their hair done early in the morning. Go and do it. It's just like going to Starbucks at like 5 in the morning. So we got to change everything around. You got to be able to adapt, to adjust to the new change. If you can do those 3 things, which a lot of the restaurants, providing they had a patio, can do. Do what Denny's did. Use your parking lot. I was amazed that all Denny's have put up the plastic thing. Good for
Mhm.
Denny's. That's what you got to do.
Yeah. Well, that's what they're doing here. They've taken the parking spots and built that out. to have tables on really in the middle of the street.
Yeah, all around here too. And I think that's great. You know, whatever we can do to give people an experience and allow these businesses to survive is super important. We need them.
Mike, how do you see the month of January? January, the last 2 Januaries, actually the last 3 Januaries have been the busiest month of the year. This time, there's no Golden Globes, there's no CES, there's no awards, and there's no film festivals. This will be the deadest January coming up in 21st. What do you do the month of January?
Jeez.
Return holiday gifts. I'm not sure. You know, they're not happening, but there's going to be a lot of virtual components to support. We're still going to be learning. Obviously, we've got one big thing happening in January, whichever way it goes, an inauguration. So we'll see. That'll certainly draw a lot of people and attention. But, you know, in terms of the business, I'm hoping we're starting to get back to a normal. I'm hoping that we've, you know, figured out ways, if we can't, you know, stop this disease, we can minimize it. And we can protect people and protect folks when they go to work, when they go to a set, when they go to a stage, or, you know, to be an audience. You know, I'm hoping that science is going to come back with some things that are going to be beneficial for us all.
No, I'm hopeful on that. So
We got a couple of minutes left. Mike, are those lights you talked about in the studio, are they affordable? They're expensive right now or what?
Well, they're not for the average household. You know, they're more expensive than that. These are industrial grade, phenomenal. You know, I think they can, you know, use the cards for just lighting a set. They can probably light about half a football field.
Wow.
I was told. And, you know, they're, what's really cool, they also, it's the first light, my understanding is, that is made to bring out all different skin colors. So a lot of lights, you know, really wash out, and these make everyone's skin color a little richer looking. So I think that's really important and powerful, especially as we're looking to tell more diverse stories as an industry. That we want everyone to look as good as they possibly can. But the UVC piece about it, you know, you're gonna pay some money for that, but this is for your business, this is for your set, this is for your studio, whatever it might be, and it's going to protect you really well.
Do they have different sizes or they just have one size right now?
They have the one size. You know, I'm not the total expert on it, but I know a lot, and I can I'll shoot you their email address, their website, so you can see and learn more.
That'd be appreciated. Anything that the audience would love to know more about you, besides the Buddy Hackett posters that I like behind you?
Well, there's more posters downstairs that it's just some of the other characters that were done there. I think we have Dionne Warwick, Ray Charles. There's a few other bands. You know, it was a fun campaign. But look, I'm here to help storytellers, to help bring stories to life, and to help them their stories be seen and heard by more people. And like I said before, too often folks get too close to what it is they're working on that it becomes difficult to communicate it. So my job is to help them really share the potential and see the potential in it and make it easy for an audience to consume.
And how can people reach out to you? What's your social media links?
You can find me at Facebook at Mike.Tankel on Facebook, or LinkedIn. I'm M Tankel there, Tankel, or shoot me a line if you want, Mike at tobecontinued.la.
I love your stuff on LinkedIn. I'm always paying attention to what you're putting up.
Well, that's because the last thing I put up was about you.
No, it wasn't because of that. No, I like the stuff that you have. All right,
Well,
Terry.
yeah, we try to make
Go ahead, Mike. Go ahead.
Try
Mike,
to make
you
it.
say something?
Oh, no.
All right, Terry, your social media links.
Terri Marie nonstop on all platforms. And then my website is terrimarieofficial.com.
And are you prepared you're still in training now for your thing in November? Does that still go?
Yeah, I'm doing Fitness Universe in Vegas, November, the 21st. I don't know if we're going to have an audience there, but I am going to be competing. So we'll see.
Awesome.
Do you have to walk on stage with your mask? Did they say that first or no?
I don't think so. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I hope not. I mean, the girls are you're pretty much distanced when enough space. I don't know if they're going to COVID test. I have no idea how it's going to be. This is going to be my first show that I've done since COVID started. So I don't know. It'll be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So for Mike and Terry, this is Brian Sebastian, Movie Reviews and More. I want to thank both of you being on. Woman on TV.tv, IT247 out of Tennessee. And Terry, that third show that we did last year is at 947,000 views, Flex 24. Another 52, and we'll have another 1 million view show.
Crazy.
No.
All good.
Excellent.
Who would have known on that one? But with that, as we leave, we got to say this. If you see someone without a smile, please give them one of yours because the world needs it. So we will see you next week.